What up, fam jam? Justin here with River Kids at River Run Church. First off, happy Veterans Day to all of you out there. I know that we have some service men and women that are a part of River Run and are part of our parents. And we are just so grateful for the service that you have given and are currently giving. If you are in current service, we just can't say thank you enough. And so happy Veterans Day to you. This week, we are continuing to look at interactions that Jesus himself had with people around that he was coming in contact with. And through these interactions, he was showing his love and his service in these moments. And so we're looking at that with the kids, and this week is no exception. And because we're looking at these different interactions, we are going to kind of hop around a little bit. So this week we find ourselves in John, the Gospel of John, chapter 13. And here Jesus is with his disciples, and they are having a gathering to have what is going to end up being Jesus' last meal before he goes to the cross and is ultimately crucified. So of course before that, food. Now after the food, but before they pose for the famous Da Vinci painting, Jesus does something really remarkable. You can find this in verses 1 through 17 of chapter 13. And what we see is that Jesus himself, not one of the disciples, Jesus himself gets down on his hands and knees, gets a bowl of water and some washing stuff, and begins to go around and wash the disciples' feet. A lot of us may find feet not that great anyways, and we have a lot of luxuries that they did not have back then. Not to mention, this is Jesus. This is the Son of God. This is God himself in human form, and he's the one that's getting down on his hands and knees and washing their feet. And this, of course, blows the disciples' minds as well. We'll let you and your kids get into the specifics of that. But I do want to also mention one thing that is really important for the kids to understand and for us as well. Jesus washed all 12 of his disciples' feet. All right? So, gut check time.
Tornado DDT, but look out! Gut check time!
That means he washed Judas's feet. Even knowing that Judas was going to betray him, he still washed his feet. He still took care of him. He still loved him. Now, we're not saying that's easy by any means. That is not easy at all. But it is the example that Jesus is setting for us himself and then saying, go and do likewise. Go and do likewise. I've done this for you. And then, of course, we know about, we talk about the cross and ultimately rising again and defeating death and sin. But he was like, hey, this is how we got to do this. And I know it's hard for us, but just remember that. Jesus washed Judas's feet too. So through that, what we landed on with the kids is that Jesus wants us to show others his love by serving them. Jesus wants us to show his love to others by serving them. Yeah. And we had some really great discussions Sunday with your kids on that, and talking a lot about River Kids Serve Day that's coming up on November 23rd in the morning. We're really excited about that and a chance to kind of walk this out, what that looks like, that we're loving and serving others just as Jesus wants us to and has shown us that we should. We're also in our memory verse still. 1 John 4:19 is still our memory verse for this month. So 1 John 4:19, be sure to check that out. We hope that these are great conversations, perhaps even leading to some action in your own family, not just on River Kids Serve Day, but also just in your own family, finding ways that you can love and serve on others. So that's the conversation this week. Hope it's great for each of you. We're praying for those conversations, and we're going to see you a little bit later in the week.